Okay, and the last point on our list today, on the 3rd of June, is Valdis Šteins, Latvians Unite with Other Nations on Abandoning Nuclear War Systems. He has, unfortunately, couldn't come here to us in Jūrmala, but he has sent a message in several languages, because Valdis Šteins, he is one of the leaders, and he is in the board of Latvian Society, and he is a great ideologist and human scientist, and I will just elaborate on the subject by going through his letter. He's invited to speak on the subject of Latvian culture and the Balts culture to some conference of Muslims, and he has prepared his speech in English, which says Latvian and other values, and he has been describing them. But I won't read everything, but he means that we Latvians in general do not have true priest institutions, and he does not call himself a priest, but he considers himself a man who tries to bring light and be spiritual guide, like a roadmap who tries to lead the people away from neoliberalism, from greed and strange values matrix. And he agrees with Taoists that the natural path is important, but he's trying to find God's natural prescribed way and to push his people towards this goal, which should be to live as per God's advice. And he's approaching here Muslim commandments, preparing for his speech for the Muslim conference. But he describes here the honor of God that goes hand in hand with reverence and respect for our Creator. And he describes the 18 virtues of the Baltic civilization. First are the 9 self-virtues: wisdom and ingenuity, which is wisdom, not slyness, but cleverness. Work virtue, love of work, free labor, not slave labor. Beauty, mirth, not only to be confused with hedonism. Goodness, kindness, mercy with charity, sympathy and compassion, honor and self-esteem, courage and fearlessness. And then he mentions the next 9 that are personal virtues: love, compatibility, or in more recent times called friendship, honesty and keeping one's word, mutual respect, reverence, hospitality, generosity, mutual assistance, fairness or similar likeness, soundness or reputation. And this is our 1,000-year-old system of values. For thousands of years we have been relying on these virtues. And as a Baltic civilization and as Latvians, we do not have our own religion, but rather that we call our own Latvian lifestyle, life wisdom, which is called Latvianism, if we try to translate it. And he's very well describing our Latvian culture, and this culture is very useful for making the world a better place and people happier. This is indigenous philosophy that is about war and peace, and friendship between nations. And we are for criminalization of war. If you are on the defense, then you must fight. But we in our own land and in all of Central Europe feel that what is happening is a real discrediting and defamation of most religions, and in this case he approaches Islam, and he approaches pseudoscientism and the clash of civilization here. And he means that he addresses the state, the line in the Quran, "O people, we created you as nations and tribes so that you would learn about each other." And he means that those are golden words. And that this is stated also in our virtues of the people. Nations with nations must live like similar likeness and with friendship between nations. And then he approaches the issue of man and woman, where in Quran it states, "We have created you as male and female." And about freedom that was brought to women whose position had been that of less than a slave before. And then he talks about violent religions. And about how with force one does not become loved. And about the Northern Crusades that were waged against the Latvians to Christianize the Baltic people. And it was a bloody Christianization in which 1/5 of Baltic nations were destroyed, leaving every fifth, not 1/5, but in which 1 of 5 only was left alive. So 4/5 were killed off. So justice, he means that there are similarities in understanding of justice. Aims to create a just society whose supervisor is God, and we are against pauperization of people, especially impoverishment. He mentions the science as he is a scientist himself. He attends Islam here as it is valued. And in Latvia, this currently catastrophic situation, it is when we are getting destroyed through a state oligopolies by the oligarch systems, where only those inventions are promoted which bring in wealth and not better the welfare of the people, just for few. And where science has died off. And he's criticizing Illuminati systems and the New World Order structure. So he's addressing the issue of human slavery. For thousands of years we did not know what slavery was here. But with the coming of crusaders who brought Judeo-Christianity, it appeared. Similarly with the communist occupation in 1940, when we became communist slaves. But from 1990, along with overlapping veil of neoliberalism, modern slavery appeared. But along with the specially created economic crisis in the world and in Latvia, in 2008, we additionally became financial slaves of foreign banks. And he addresses especially an issue about bank interest percentages and usury. And here he praises Islam, that is against satanic invention of usury. Where exactly the lone interests are those which destroy the balanced national economy. Any national economy, any natural market is turned into an oligopoly, not to mention inflation and unemployment. It is a specially artificial situation created in order to manage parts of the world. And the last issue he addresses is about state slavery. No, it's not the last, it's the second last. About state slavery. He is among those, Šteins, who created and headed the Latvian Popular Front so that they could get rid of Soviet Union to regain independence. They won, they became free, and had a country without debt. A whole country without debt, full of resources, human and natural and industrial and property. But only occupying powers owed and still owe us for the damage during the occupation. And he assures us of that as he was a member of Parliamentary Budget Committee. And at present our country, under auspices of Brussels administration, has already become a financial hostage in the amount of billions. We are hostage of global syndicate of finances. And then he addresses the last. There were just some of his proposals for cooperation in the field among all the cultures of the world. And this spectrum has already been made much wider, and he hopes that we will find like-minded people to jointly build a brighter world for all of us. And I do know that Šteins addresses issues of nuclear war and even issues of nuclear power plants very strongly in his work, in his literature. And he sends his warmest regards to our conference to succeed with criminalization of nuclear war systems. So we Aborigines, among which are the Šteins, we will be working to succeed with this. Thanks so much, Dr. Šteins.